There we go. Now, trading forward exchange stocks, options, or futures on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your objectives, your financial situation, your needs, and of course, your own personal level of experience. The speakers on Traders on Trend and the Summer Market Summit provide general advice that does not take into account your own personal objectives, your own personal situation, or your needs. So if you hear an example about somebody who started off with $30,000 or $50,000 or whatever, and that doesn't fit your personal needs, you should not be investing that kind of money. In my own personal opinion, I believe you should never invest more than you can afford to lose, because there's always a chance. I've started a lot of businesses. I've done a lot of investing in my life. Sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't. So I always say the same thing. Take a look at the high risk warning. And Rod, we can move up to our next slide, please. So as I said earlier, I'm incredibly excited to bring Mr. Rob Booker out today. Rob is a full-time dad. He's an author, a podcast host, and he's an incredibly experienced financial trader who I'm sure a lot of you have seen around. Rob is dedicated to building a tight-knit community for traders to share experiences. He offers support and guidance in navigating the complex world of finance. And he's passionate about empowering traders like us and overcoming obstacles together. And of course, you can find him at his website. Rob Booker is here. Rob, how are you today?
Marvelous. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm so happy that you decided to join us for this.
Man, I'm so excited to see you again. It feels like it's been a long time since you and I have worked together.
It has been a while, a couple years.
Yeah.
A couple years.
Way too long. Way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, but great to see you back. I've been telling everybody that you're coming, and like I'm personally excited to hear you and see you. So I'm going to turn my camera off. We're going to give you the screen share, and we're going to sit back and watch the master.
All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? I'm Rob Booker. It's nice to see you. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. And, as we go, I will double check with the team to make sure I'm doing okay on time. And so you should be able to see my screen. This is my trading account. So I got a few things to say at the beginning that's going to echo what John said, and I think it's really important. I'm not here today to guarantee anybody that you're going to become a millionaire overnight. I wish that could be the case. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you that every single trade that we're going to take together is going to work. And I'm not going to promise you that every single trade that we take is never going to lose. So, just a few things. Those are obvious, but it's really important to talk about that because I'm going to try to lower the hype level and, the salesiness of my presentation here. And I do get, as John mentioned, I get really excited to spend some time together with you. And there's a couple of things that I want to start off with, and I want to make sure that I sort of address immediately. I think it's important to learn from people who really trade and who have kind of a long track record in doing it, because trading with real money is a real emotional experience. And I feel like trading with real money is such a challenge compared to just sort of watching the charts. Have you ever done it where you point to the charts and you pick it and it works, and you paper trade it and it works, and you call a trade and it works? And then the minute that you start trading with real money, it's like everything just explodes into madness. And the next thing you know, there's pizza boxes all over the floor, and you don't know, you're waking up from a fog and you can't believe how you got there. Well, we're going to address all of that today. And I'm here for you, not the other way around. So the most important person here today in the presentation is you, and I'm here to serve you and help you and hopefully over deliver. And of course, at the end, I've got something for $7, and I want to be fully transparent about that. I'm going to spend probably less than 2 minutes even describing that, and I'm going to pack the presentation otherwise with just a ton of education and some stuff that I've really never shared before. And sort of kick things off with to encourage some participation in the chat. I see we've got over 100 people here. I'd love to just break the Zoom chat box, which I know is theoretically impossible, but you can't fault me for trying. Let's start off with a contest. I'd like to know where you're from and how long you've been trading. So the chat window is somewhere on your Zoom controls on the screen right now, and it probably says chat with a little bit of a bubble. Let me know where you're from and how long you've been trading. And my assistant is right here in the chat with us. And we're just going to pick one person every once in a while as we go through this presentation that participates in the chat, answers a question, clicks a link, or whatever it is. And we're going to give somebody a book. We're going to kick it off with a Charlie Munger book. This is one of my favorite books for investors and traders. It's by Trent Griffin, Charlie Munger, The Complete Investor. And this is a great collection of quotes and anecdotes and just basically insights from Charlie Munger. He's the world's most rational investor. And I think rational thinking is the key to trading successfully. We could talk more about that a little bit later on, but I want to make sure we get to the charts and we look at the screens and focus on everything that we're doing here. So let's go. Let's see. Steve's here from Dover, Pennsylvania, 6 years. Steve, you're the winner. We're gonna message you inside of the Zoom chat with a phone number you can text, and then we're gonna send you a book. We'll get your mailing address and everything else. Now we got lots of prizes here. I'm here for you. I want to make this a really positive experience for you. So we're going to come back and we're going to do another contest, and we can all be happy for Steve. And I'm so, it just like thrills me to see all the participation in the chat. It's important that you feel comfortable asking questions and getting help here, because I'm here for you. So I've been trading for 22 years. And John gave me a really kind and thoughtful introduction. I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to spend some time with you talking about some of the essentials. So are you ready to learn a ton and have a great time? So you know what happens when you participate in the chat box, right? So let me know. Are you ready to learn and have a great time? You can give me if you want to be just super vulgar, you could just say, hell yeah. I mean, whoa, language, please. But you could just say, heck yeah, or whatever. I'm so happy to be here with you. Let's get right to it. Have you ever missed a trade that everyone else seemed to get? Have you ever been on a webinar like this? And the host is like, and obviously this was a trade with the Fibonacci spiral of death, and it's so simple to set up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up Wolfram Alpha and do the quadratic equation and take the square root of pi. And then you're like, what in the world did that what did they say? And you say, well, and then next week you're like, I took a trade based on the strategy that you taught me. And they're like, oh no, the CEO of that company, the second letter of their middle name is Q, and it doesn't work when that happens. And you're like, well, I didn't know that rule. Well, listen, it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating when that kind of stuff happens. I mean, does trading ever seem like it can get overly complicated? I remember starting out 22 years ago, and it didn't take long for my charts to just get filled up with all kinds of extra stuff. And that can lead to a really frustrating experience. Have you ever lost money on a trade that somebody else claimed to make money on, and you think you traded it the right way, and you can't quite figure out what the difference is? Well, we're going to address some of that today, because I know what that feels like. It could be incredibly frustrating to know that it's possible to trade for a living, but still feel like it's not working out for you. I'm not here today to share some insights, or I'm not here today to brag about my trading or whatever it is. I'm here today to literally move this thing forward, literally actually get us moving forward in the right direction and actual progress toward trading for a living. But I'm not going to, I don't want to use the words financial freedom, and I don't want to make any outrageous claims. That's not what I'm here to do. And these presentations can at times feel like it's like, well, are they ever going to show me the charts and stuff? But I want to really address this at the beginning. Trading isn't going to work for everybody, and it's really difficult, but there are some reasons that people overcomplicate it, and we're going to address that. And I know what it's like to want to have a better life for you and your family, and want trading to be the answer, because working that 9-to-5 job or struggling or trying to save for retirement, those things are frustrating and even scary experiences. So I know what that's like, and I want to address that kind of stuff head on. So I'm so glad that you're here. I want you to be successful. That's the reason that I'm here. And although I do get excited, I don't want to get hypey. I don't want to get salesy. I want to sort of just speak in an even tone of voice, and I want to cover a lot of ground in the shortest amount of time possible. So are you ready? If you're excited and ready, let's go. I know why you want to be a trader. You want to be a trader for your family, for yourself, for a better life. Most of the people that I work together with, they're family people. They believe, like I do, that the greatest amount of happiness in life, the greatest joy in life is family happiness. That's the greatest amount of happiness. And that's what gets me excited. That's the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing here for my daughter and my son and my fiance and our dog that we found in the parking lot of Ross Dress for Less 2 years ago. Those are the reasons that I trade. Now, I like nice things. Everybody likes nice things, but what we're really trying to talk about here is just being able to make a living, hopefully. And successful trading isn't about having an epiphany or, taking that pill from the movie, whatever, Limitless or whatever. It's not about that. Successful trading is about doing ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. It's just about walking a path. And there are some very simple things you can do right now to realize massive improvements in your trading. So I'm going to talk about a refreshingly simple approach to trading. So hi, everybody. My name is Rob. I've been trading for 22 years. You saw my live account at the beginning. We're going to take a close-up look at that today because I made a mistake today that I think you can learn from. And then I had some nice trades also. I don't know if this will work here, but this is the screenshot from that. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so that's my trading for the day so far. I'm not done yet. I target between $700 and $1,000 a day. I don't always get there. I'm not here today to claim that I'm the greatest trader in the world or whatever, but I am on a fairly regular basis meeting that goal. And we can look at my entire trade history here together today. But I had a mistake trade. I lost $295 on a trade that eventually did exactly what I wanted it to do. And because I have a really strict approach to risk management, I closed that out. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But I want to address a refreshingly simple approach to trading. Number 5 on the list. We're going to count this down. It's like a Casey Kasem countdown. Number 5. So use a few very easy and simple indicators. These 3 indicators, and I don't even know if you call candles indicators. I mean, they do indicate direction. So volume weighted average price, otherwise known as VWAP, volume, and candles, just green and red. I don't care about dojis, hammers, emojis, emoji candles. I don't care about all that stuff. I'm just going to use very, very basic stuff. And not because I want to claim to be dumber than everybody else or, self-deprecating. I just want to keep it simple. It doesn't have to get complicated. And the minute it starts getting complicated, that's when everything goes wrong. Because the more moving parts there are in a trading approach, the more difficult it's going to be to have that trading approach work. Here is CJET. If you looked at it this morning, you saw that this was a mover. Now, you saw on the screen share that I just did, I traded this. I did buy this stock. Small win for me today. I just took a little piece out of it. I'm going to show you everything that goes into a buy trade for me right here. No PhD in astrophysics required. So I've got the blue volume weighted average price on the screen. It's the blue line running through the middle. I've got volume at the bottom of the screen, and you can see volume went from nothing to a big jump. That is a very, very strong indicator of trading success. So the green candle, the bullish candle, blows up and above the volume weighted average price on strong volume that just absolutely eclipses all other volume. That is like 10 times, 20 times the volume that it had in the pre-market session. That's a buy trade for me. That's a 100% simple, easy buy trade for me. Now there's a red dashed line going across the screen at the pre-market highs right there. That's the profit target. You can ride that a little bit longer and move your stop and trail your stop and whatnot, but that's the system. The question is, well, there's a few questions. Do you want to dive into how to do this on a regular basis without any, like I said, without any complicated mumbo jumbo? And do you want to trade this together with me later on today? So for those of you that say yes later on, I've just scheduled last minute, we just scheduled a live Zoom to trade the after hours session together, which is shockingly awesome and kind of even effortless. Now, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I took a good trade today doesn't mean we're always going to take good trades. And I want to be really clear about this. I'm not trying to hype anything up. I'm just trying to say this is a simple approach, and it doesn't have to get more complicated than this. Number 4, if you want to use a refreshingly simple approach to trading, well, buy strong stocks. Trade what's moving in the direction you want to go. I'm constantly amazed at traders who are buying on dips, and then they're shocked when it continues to dip. Bad stocks drop, good stocks rise. So you follow the flow rather than trying to predict it. And when you take a trade, it should be obvious that you're doing the right thing. Let's take OMH as an example. This is May 15th on Monday. I'm going to show you a trade from Friday, and I just showed you a trade from this morning, but we can look at lots of recent examples. A lot of traders, what they will do is they will try to buy a stock like this on a dip. So if I grab here, they'll try to buy a stock like this when it dips down. The problem with that is a lot of these stocks that we look at in the mornings, they're not really high quality companies necessarily. And they can have a temporary bump, but they're not like going to go lights out. They're not the next Apple computer. And I don't like buying these stocks at a dip. So what I do instead is the following. What I'll look for is a pre-market high. The stock will jump, create a pre-market high. This one made a pre-market high at $29.93. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this stock to prove to us that it can move above that pre-market high. That is an indication that it's not just us. When you buy a stock on a dip all the way down here, maybe it's a dip and rip or whatever you want to call it. What that is that's just buying a stock that's dropping. And although it seems like we're getting a deal, what can happen on those stocks is you can really quickly you can get in a lot of trouble and hold on to a stock that's dropping. I'm going to use myself as an example. I have in the past, I know this is going to come as a complete shock. I have bought a stock. It went against me and then I held it. I know that's not a shock, right? We've all done that. I don't do this buying of stocks on a dip anymore. I don't do that. What I want to know is I want to see that this stock absolutely positively is proving that it's breaking out on volume. You can see at the bottom of the screen, volume is going wild. It's above the volume weighted average price, that blue line that I showed, and it's jumping on volume. That's it. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see a stock jumping like that. Now, you just fire out questions as we go. We're also going to save some time for questions at the end. This is a critically important concept, though. MBOT did this on the 22nd. I know guarantees are a little bit weird in this business, like guarantee, but I'm going to guarantee you something. Every single day, there's 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these every single day. I just sit in front of the computer and I wait for these to fire off. I draw my lines. I get my volume indicator up and running and ready. And I just trade these breakouts one after the other. That's what I'm looking to do. And if you've ever missed a trade that everybody seemed to get, and then you're like, well, I don't want to chase it. This is the solution. This is the solution. In my opinion, it's the solution. It jumps up, pulls back, jumps up, pulls back. And every time it breaks out higher on strong volume, we're just buying it. We're just momentum buying these stocks. Microbot Medical, I don't know what they do. They may make electronic sunglasses that you wear during surgery or smart toilets. I don't know what they do. The point is, we're not going to be the ones who try to predict what it's going to do. What I notice when I work with a trader and they're unsuccessful, they're trying to predict what a stock is going to do. They're like, well, it's on a dip now, but if I use the Fibonacci spiral of death and the snake momentum indicator and they're trying to predict that it's going to jump. Instead, I just say, is it jumping? Is it moving in the right direction? I want to buy it as it's moving up. I do not want to buy a stock that is dropping. So I trade small cap stocks. And for those of you familiar with the terminology, those are just smaller companies. Generally speaking, they're trading for under $10 a share. They're NASDAQ stocks, so they're not dangerous penny stocks. They're NASDAQ traded stocks with millions and millions and millions of shares of volume and very tight spreads. That's what I'm trading. So how do I weed out the top 5 of the day? That is the question of the day. You're also a winner. You didn't even know you were a winner, but that's a great question. So we're gonna message you here in the chat. You're a winner. That is a great question. I'm going to cover exactly how I find those stocks. It's so refreshingly easy. You're going to just shake your head and go, wow, I don't really even need to buy anything. How refreshing is that, by the way? Okay, number 3. I'm so glad you asked that question. Here we go. Set up your scanners. Set yourself up so that the best stocks to trade pop up on your screen before it's time to trade them. So here's a high volume movers scan. I'm going to share my other screen with you in just a second and show you this. High volume mover scan. I built this in tradeideas.com, trade-ideas.com. I'll send you my code for this scanner. And it makes it incredibly simple if you have trade-ideas.com. I call these sweet poppers. These are the stocks that are jumping on significant volume. And you might say, well, if they're already jumping, did you miss it? No, I never get the first move. I never get the first leg of the move. The first leg of the move is the alert. Then I set up the trade and we calmly, collectively watch for it, and we watch for the breakout and trade it. It's a refreshingly simple way to trade. Instead of have you ever sat in front of the screen and it feels like you're on the deck of a battleship of an aircraft carrier and a plane is about to land and you don't know if it's going to land or not. Like I've sat in front of, like, is it going to go? Is it not going to go? Well, we know these ones are going. Now, if you don't want to use trade-ideas.com, you can just use, this is today's top game. This is it. This is the scan from Webull. Webull has a free scanner. I funded an account with $2,000 just to get it updated in real time, which I don't even know if I needed to do that. This is the top gainers scan in Webull. It's like I said, this is refreshingly simple stuff. The top gainers scan in pre-market and every 5 minutes just refreshes the list of stocks that are popping. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculously simple. Once again, I've been to webinars where they're like, okay, here's what you do. You're the bottle cap. I want you to run down this old Bill Cosby joke. You know, I know he got canceled for good reason. You know, you're the bottle cap. You run down to the number 2 bus. You take the number 2 bus downtown. You get off the bus. You go into the bodega. You know, like what? Like what? No, you open up Webull and you grab the top gainers and you focus on those stocks. That's it. You want to make it more complicated. You know, of course, be my guest and that's fine. But I don't want it to be complicated. I want to get in. I want to get out. I want to smash and grab and get the money. So number 2, if you want a refreshingly simple approach to trading, trade the sessions that no one thinks about. Trade before the market opens. Did you know that electronically speaking, every broker, Webull, Robinhood, Tastyworks, E-Trade, Thinkorswim, Schwab, Fidelity, you can trade before the market opens. The electronic trading begins on your platform at 4 a.m. Eastern time. Now, I'm not saying anybody here ought to wake up at 4 a.m. Eastern time. Crack of dawn. That's before breakfast. Nobody wants to do that. But you could trade that session. We do it. We just don't trade it that early. You could trade after the market closes. Did you know that after the market closes, you can keep trading? After the bell rings on the New York Stock Exchange, did you know that it's what I would refer to as the cleanest, simplest, most effortless style of trading? It's the cleanest moves. At 4 p.m. Eastern time, Webull, Robinhood, Tastyworks, Thinkorswim, E-Trade, Schwab, Fidelity, you can trade after the close. And in fact, do you want to trade after the close with me today? If you do, let me know in the chat. Say yes in the chat. You know what happens when we participate in the chat. Let me know in the chat. You want to trade with me after the close? I'll show you how we can do that together later on today. Here's GSIT after the close, Friday, May 12th. Once again, I'm going to make an odd guarantee here. I guarantee you that today after the close and every day after the close, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of these, and they pop up on my scan. We set them up and we knock them down. If you want, you can trade them on the way up and you can short them on the way down if you want. So this is GSIT, kind of a nice day. It grinded upward all day. And then at the close, it was a rocket ship. It jumped up where you see the arrow pointing at GSIT. We didn't catch it until that arrow. It popped up on the scan at the candles to the right of the arrow. So I'm not here today to go, so here's what I did. I'm a member of the Dionne Warwick Psychic Friends Network. And so I knew this was going to move before it started. No. No, it popped up on the scan after it started to move. And then what we did was we set up our levels and we traded this continued breakout. It went 90% from that level. So $1,000 account would have the potential to turn into $1,900. Now, we don't have a time machine, so we can't go back and trade that one. And that's for demonstration purposes only. And we did trade this together. And there were traders in our group that did trade this and okay, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean that every single time we trade, it's going to be a winner. And I'm not here to make any claims about how rich you're going to get. Of course, there are losses. But you don't need more than $1,000 account to do this kind of thing with us. I wouldn't even recommend having more than that. If you have the potential to do something special with $1,000, why not just keep the trades small? Here's VVPR, did nothing all day long, 0 volume, 0 movement. No one can predict that that's going to be the biggest mover after hours. Neither can I. So I wait until it pops up on my scan after it jumps on the first leg. Then it moves 40% from there. So I don't need to predict that it's going to move. I just wait for it to do it and then set up a trade. Here's FRZA. So this is Forza. This is on Friday. This is last Friday. This is the 2nd of June. I traded this one. I bought this one on the breakout. So strong volume after hours. The after hours moves are like shockingly clean. And nobody even pays attention to this. Everybody goes, oh, the bell rang, trading is over. No, it's not. In fact, I joke around about this, but I'm kind of serious. You could move to the West Coast. You could lay on the beach. You could go out all night and hang out and do whatever you do. Go surfing in the morning or whatever you want to, take a nap, and then wake up at like right before the market closes and get ready to trade. And nobody even thinks about that. And for those of you that have a busy life and kids and families and all kinds of stuff, like the afternoon is such a refreshingly simple way to do this. So, all right. And some people say, Paul says 400K volume is good, under 100 not so good. Yeah, totally agree. Okay, number one on the list. If you want a refreshingly simple approach to trading, hey, get educated without going broke. I know a handful of millionaire traders. I interviewed over 50 in the last 22 years. Every single one of them studies the markets every single day. So what I do is I have, here's a group of speakers that I spoke, I was the opening speaker at the Tim Sykes conference in Miami, Florida last October. And every single one of these millionaire traders on the stage, they study the markets every single day, like every single day. And what I do is I keep a record of every single trade that I take, every single time I take a trade, and I study those moves, and I collect. This is just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of charts. So I keep a record of all of it, and then I study that record every day as I'm starting my trading. All right. So later on, I've got 25 slots in this $7 course thing. You can save this link. Liz is in the chat too. She can drop that link in there too. So there's going to be 25 spots. So you can bookmark this for later. I'm not going to be salesy and whatever, but I want to give you the link now because they're all going to be gone. And there's a reason it's 25 because I'm going to trade together with everybody later on today. And I want to be able to give everybody some special attention. So here's some bonus lessons. First of all, never give up. Every single millionaire trader that I've ever interviewed, from Jack Kellogg, who's up $12 million, Matt Monaco's up $2 million. Every single millionaire trader I've ever interviewed or talked to, every single one of them had catastrophic losses along the way and almost gave up. By the way, all of them also started with very small trading accounts. So, doesn't mean everybody's going to become a millionaire. I'm not here to say that, oh my gosh, you're going to be, I'm not saying that. I want to be very careful. Most traders lose money. Most traders everywhere lose money. And most traders trade like drunken monkeys and have 12 million indicators on their screen. Number two, don't trade alone. Make sure that you've got a community surrounding you, good people around you to assist you, help you, trade with you, give you feedback. In fact, get feedback on every single trade that you take. So that's why I keep this document here, is so that I can share it with my friends with whom I trade, and I can show them where I entered, where I exited, what my thought process was. It's an incredibly useful thing to get feedback on those trades. So like I said, I'm glad that you're here. I know what it's like to want to have a better life for you and your family. And trading sure might be the answer. And think about the American dream, right? The old American dream. Work the 9 to 5, get a promotion, save your money, celebrate the holidays, mow the lawn, raise the kids, go to church. Everything's going to be all right. I mean, is it truly possible to become a millionaire from that? Theoretically, yes. But more and more, it seems like wealth is being concentrated in the hands of the few. And it seems like the game is rigged. And it seems like people who, it's almost as if things like trading have better potential than maybe getting a job and hoping your company goes public or something like that. So if the American dream or whatever isn't working for you, could trading be the answer? Well, I can't promise that I have the answer. Trading might not be for you, and trading together with you might not be for us. We might not be a good fit for working together. I can't promise that I have the answer for you. I hope I do, and I hope that we get the chance to work together. And I do know a path, and it's a path that some of us have already traveled. I can show you the way if you'd like to walk that path with me. So I'm going to tell you about some extraordinary traders who trade these methodologies together with me. I'm going to tell you how they did it, and I'm going to invite you to join them. So trader number one is Thomas Dentino. He's been a member of my morning trading group since 2022, since the end of last year. Started with a very small account, and he had an extraordinary amount of success. I think I'm going to avoid talking about numbers and stuff, but he started off taking trades in a very small trading account, and he just built it up from there. This is what he said in one of the webinars that I did, webinar just like this. He said on his first day after we finished trading, he said, I was skeptical, but this is the real deal. So on the screen, you will see some results posted. We self-report our results in our rooms, and I have a chat room specifically for posting results. I haven't verified every single person's trading accounts. I have no reason to believe any of them would be liars, but it's a right. I want to be real careful when I'm showing you their experiences. They're all just self-reporting, and like I said, I don't want to get hypey and all that stuff. And some people have reported some pretty spectacular results. All right. Trader number 2 is Stephen Boise. He's a member since 2022, also at the end of the year. He's actually lives nearby in Houston, Texas. And he's just one of the other members here. Started with a very small trading account, started the week of Thanksgiving, actually last November. And he's just one of the, Bobby's in there, Faye's in there, Thomas Check is in there, Peter's in there, Patricia, Bruce, Ray, Mark, Frank, Bill, Michael. I log every single result that every single trader reports, every single time, losses and wins, every single time. And what I want to do is be able to see how you are doing and make sure that we're staying on track with that. And so you see these names. The biggest lesson is all of these traders, every single one of them struggled at first and had to simplify their trading, and they had to just not give up. So I keep a log of every result that we have every single time. So this is from the week of April 24th of this year. Mike Clausen, Clay Steen, Lori and Rick and Steve and Stephen Boise. So Stephen Boise, he's right here, he's my neighbor. Once again, I have seen his trading account. So I've personally verified this result and many, many, many others of his trades, like all of his trading. And he helps to moderate our group. So what is it that Stephen did? What is it? Like how does somebody have consistent success? In my opinion, they do this stuff that I've been showing you. They're very, very specifically focused on very simple things. And this is 18 pages of results. I log the wins and the losses. So it's not just me out here going, every single trader is a giant winner and everybody's, that's not what we're doing. But the fact of the matter is, they're having a lot of success. So that's that week. Ooh, those are our trade alerts. This is trading from last week. That was a $579 day for me. There's RS. You're going to meet Roger. Roger's amazing. There's Dallas Tex. I log all the wins and the losses. So I could bore you to death with all of those results, but I just want to I show that just because we're all very transparent about how we do. And that's one of the best things about things. It's just the community aspect to it. So here's my story. I started trading in the year 2000. I blew my first account like so many traders do. I was out of money. I met my mentor. I paid him $10,000 to teach me how to trade. He was a hedge fund manager living in Switzerland. And that changed my life forever. A few years later, I was featured in the book Millionaire Traders, founder of the 922 AM Club, which is a morning trading group. We meet every single morning. I don't have any information about that today. That's something we can talk about at another time. I'm not here to just do a bunch of sales. Wrote some books, started one of the very first YouTube channels for day traders, started the Traders Podcast, which was the first podcast for traders. First one as an internet radio show, got on the radio, had a radio show for a while. So hi, everybody. I've been trading for 22 years. My name is Rob. Had a podcast and a radio show. I sold all of that, retired, just trade my account now. And I founded the 922 AM Club. It's my private trading group that meets every morning. This is not a sales pitch for that, but I'm very proud of it. Very, very proud of it. And it's probably my happiest accomplishment, and some of my very best friends in the world are all trading together. And I'd love the chance to earn your trust. And I'd love the chance for your story to be next. So let's get to an exciting question. Would you like to learn more about how we trade? And would you like a giant discount and an ironclad guarantee? So if that would please you, then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that we have, oh, wow. So Sajid, I'm in that club. It's amazing. Brett Harwood is there too. That's hilarious. I got some of my people are here. Hey, they're just some of my favorite people in the whole world. So let's see here if I can. I don't know if I'm allowed. I don't think I'm allowed to post a link in there, but if we can, I'd like to post that link right away to give everybody a chance. And then we can just, like I said, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time.
We'll do it for you, Rob.
Perfect. All right, great. So if you click that link and check out, I'm going to spend less than 2 minutes on this. You get my complete strategy for buying stocks, how to set up your charts, how to find a trade, or 3 or 4 or 5 every day, how to set targets and stops. You'll get alerts 2 to 3 times a week to your phone via SMS, not some weird messaging program. So like, okay, download this secret Russian chat program. It's like, just go to your phone, to your regular number, like your actual text message number. I'll send you one simple text 2 to 3 times a week, and it will have a trade alert on it. Here's what it looks like. It will look like this. It will go to a document here, and it will give you a watch list of stocks. It'll give you an actual buy trade plan. It's a trade plan. I don't call it an alert necessarily. And then a short video about why I planned the trade. I think that's the most valuable thing, that you can't even buy that anymore, actually. And then a bonus lesson on how I short stocks, and a no questions asked lifetime, anytime guarantee. If you're happy, then I'm happy. And if not, I'll refund your money and make it right. That's the way I'd want to be treated. And that's the way we'll treat you too. Also, as a bonus, if you click the link and you do that today, it's $7, and we'll trade live with you today. So I'll send you a Zoom link, and you can come to a live trading webinar today. And Brett and Sasha and everybody, I'll get everybody in our group in there too. You could meet everybody. You could like have a free for all and meet everybody in the group. Okay. So here's the good news. If you want to be a trader, you only have to do 2 things right. Oh, and I have 25 spots for that because I want to make sure that if you ask a question later on today, that I'm earning your trust and getting to know you personally. I don't care about the money. I don't work for free, but I don't care about the money. So it's $7. That's not the thing. I'm not here to make any money off of you. So anyway, so I've just reserved 25 spots. All right. So here's the good news. You only have to do 2 things right. If you want to be a trader, you have to find the right stock and trade it the right way. And I'm going to review everything that we talked about today during the last part of this presentation. I'm going to reserve a ton of time to look at the live market and break it down. Because the fact is that millionaire traders do ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. It's like walking up the side of a mountain. You can get to the top of the mountain if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you're going to stumble sometimes. But it's not like you need a helicopter and a jetpack. No, successful trading is about doing ordinary things, drawing a boring line across the top of a stock chart, trading on a breakout of that line, learning how to use your charting platform to the point where you're just so quick around that platform. I don't want to say trading is easy, because if trading were easy, everyone would be doing it. And I think it would be a disservice to say that. Most traders lose money. Traders in my family of traders lose money. Most traders in my family of traders are using about $1,000 to execute a position. I think it's always important to say, this is how much money people put into a position. All right. You just simply have to decide that now is the time that you're going to tighten up your trading, simplify things. So let's talk about why we're here. What's your goal this year for your trading? Is it income? Is it retirement? Like, honestly, take a second here and let me know in the chat. Mike says, do you trade stocks or futures also? No futures. Nope. So Mike, I would trade anything if it was the best thing to trade that made the most amount of money in the simplest way possible. So Mike, I'm not opposed to any particular financial instrument. I'm just much in favor of making money every single day. Income and fun, money for life, trading patterns, learn the process, learn what mistakes not to make, income and freedom, says Steve. That's great. That's awesome. This is really important to me. I mean, it's a shame that I talk the whole time on this presentation, because ideally you would also get the chance to share with me some thoughts, but it's not possible in a group environment. So I love this feedback. The main thing is to learn the process. Brett, I just love that. And Brett's a member of my group. I don't know if everybody can see everybody else's chat, but Brett's a member of my group. Brett has made just fantastic strides. Brett knows Tom Dentino. Brett knows Stephen Boese. Brett knows Roger and everybody else. He's in the group every day. I'm so glad you're here, Brett. It's nice to see you. So Michael's working on getting into a position where he can be gainfully unemployed. That's great. So on December 31st, 6 months from now, where do you plan on being? How will your family see you? What will your friends say? That's where I want to be future focused. Every single ultra successful trader that I've ever met, or entrepreneur for that matter, has been a future focused individual who the future was so important to them that they were willing to experience discomfort and sacrifice in the present moment to get there. So let's make a plan. Let's see if both of us can get exactly what we want before the end of the year. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to trade together every single morning. Would that work for you? Well, the first step in the process is learning the system. And that's why I have that link inside the chat. Okay, so let's imagine a typical day of trading together with me. These are some groups. Actually, there's Stephen Bois right there. That's awesome. So for those of you that are already members, Brett knows this. If you're a member of my trading group, you can just come out every about 60 days or so. You come out to my office if you want for free, and we work together in person. You open up your computer, you point at the screen, and you're like, this doesn't work. I don't know how to do this. And that's just kind of what we do. Like I said, it's these are some of my favorite people in the entire world, and I'm really grateful for the chance to work together with them. Brett says, Rob, if I may, one of the best lessons I was in was where you taught everyone about making the right decisions. Oh yeah, right, exactly. Trading successfully is just about making one right decision at a time. And if you don't know what the right decision is, you don't make any decision at all. All right. So I'd love to work together with you. Yeah, and you'd be, once we're working together, you'd be welcome to come out and see me at the office. I want you to have massive success in your trading without spending thousands of dollars. So I've opened up the starter package to 25 of you who are here today, and we're going to post a link right now inside the chat. You can go to robbiebooker.com/course or follow the link that's posted inside the chat. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to the charts, and we're going to do some live instruction. And I'm going to ask you, will you please make sure that you are asking as many questions as possible? So here we go. So here's how I set up my screen. For those of you that are interested, here's how I set up my screen. This up here is just a screenshot that made it easy to see the gains so far today. So what I have along the bottom of the screen is on one of those Apple Studio Display monitors. I just need, that's about all the space that I really need. I get 4 5-minute charts set up. And that's about the largest number of open trades I want to have at a single time. And I can look at about 4 without too much of a problem. So John, am I doing okay on time? Are we wrapping up in about 10 minutes here? Is that right? Just making 100% sure. Okay. So what I have here on the top is a 4-hour chart. And I'm going to teach you what I don't really care about this is going to sound odd. I don't care about the long-term trend. For most of the stocks, when we're buying a stock, they will be moving against the long-term trend and having a one-day pop. Like all of a sudden, just a one-day jump. And that's okay. And they will jump. So what I'm looking for in these situations are historical levels of support and resistance. Just I'm looking at old levels that they hit once before, which they will return to again. So when timber jumped today, I thought, oh, it's probably going back up to these levels that it went to in the past. Now, if you want real-time data in TradingView, you just click on your account and billing, and you go to that page and you choose real-time data. It's like $2 a month to get NASDAQ real-time data. Thank you, Gary, for asking a question. So here's, once again, how I set up my screen and how I set up my charts. So I've got volume at the bottom of the screen here. Green bars are up volume, red bars are down volume. I've got the volume weighted average price. Now, there's a lot of volume weighted average price indicators out there. So what I do is I just type in to the indicators box, volume weighted average price. And it's just, that's the name. There are so many different ones that it can get confusing. So make sure you choose volume weighted average price. And Brett and others that trade together with me, go ahead and ask questions or comments or whatever else. Want to make sure we cover everything. Everybody's being a little bit shy about questions, but I think that's just because I'm doing such a great job of explaining. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. So that's the volume weighted average price. So what is the volume weighted average price? It is the average price on a 5-minute chart adjusted for volume. So high volume bars or candles carry more weight. They carry more weight. And so that they will more significantly affect price. The purple line on my chart is the 200 period simple moving average, which is going to bring us to almost bring us we will use that in a moment when we talk about shorting stocks. For those of you that don't do any short selling, boy, do I have some great stuff for you in store for you. Okay, off to the side here, you will notice that the chart changes color. This is Forza. Forza changes color. The background goes from white to blue on the background on the far right. That is the after hours session. So what I do is I color the chart differently so I can distinguish between those time frames. So after hours, FRZA jumped up, created an alert. That alert popped up on my scanning tool up here, also in my Webull top gainers scan. I can actually pull that up right now. And I'm going to just add that right here. Pull that up. So I have, that would also pop up in the after hours version of the scan. You can see here, it was the #1 stock after hours on Friday. Here's the 5-minute version of the top stocks right now. We'll come back to that in a second because we may find a trade for today. Okay. So when we trade together, for those of you that say yes and invest the shockingly high amount of money of $7, we will be trading together this afternoon. This stock jumped up, settled back down with some red candles, and we traded when it broke above the highs. I bought that stock. I traded that stock on the breakout above the highs. And what you can do to make it really simple is you can just wait till it prints a red candle and get out. And then once it prints a red candle and creates a brand new high, you can trade the breakout of that level and it goes a little bit higher. And some of these stocks after hours will run, they'll do 3 breakouts at the most, not typically more than that. Sacha says, loves your short selling course. I went from not understanding short selling to having a surprisingly simple method to short sell. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so that's buying stocks. Super simple. The lessons are there for you. Can't wait to see you on the inside there. Now let's talk about shorting stocks. This is EVAX. Most of these companies, by the way, even though they're NASDAQ stocks and even though they technically and theoretically have employees, some of them don't even have employees if you look them up. But this stock jumped up. Not a shock. It showed up on my scan, but then it dropped below the volume weighted average price. And that's bearish. So instead of being bullish, this stock turned bearish. And it printed later on in the morning at 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern time. It printed a red candle with a shockingly large amount of volume at the bottom of the screen here, more than any other volume bar or candle that it had printed so far. I borrowed that stock and shorted that stock. And that was the biggest trade so far today. That was the $402 trade today. I'll get another one of those today. There will be another one of those today. All right. With all of that said, you can keep the questions coming. Keep that scintillating conversation going. Oh, Thomas is here. Hey, Thomas. It's really nice of you to say. Thomas is one of my favorite people in the entire world. Thomas, I'm going to put your, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. Okay. So how do you determine the amount of shares to trade? So I keep this on my screen at all times, my friends. This is my trade sizing tool. I just made a simple table that said, if my stop loss is going to be 65 cents, I can trade 1,154 shares. My maximum loss is $750. That's my maximum loss. I never trade that many shares, but that's the maximum number of shares that I can trade. So I did a table that shows me if my stop loss is 50 cents, this is how many shares I can trade. Joseph says, when and how do we get to trade with you today? So here's how you do it. If you would like to trade with me today, click the link in the chat box, invest that $7, and I will send you a Zoom link and a short selling course. We'll also email you, Joseph. We'll also be sending out an email to everybody and we can set that up. And thank you, Joseph, you did. That's perfect. I really appreciate that, Joseph. Thank you for trusting me. And there's the link again. I think we're almost probably at the 25. Typically speaking, if I do a webinar, 20 to 30% of people in the webinar will say yes. Sometimes we get sometimes it's more than that, but that's typically, so it's a pretty good number. All right. So Joseph, you signed up. We will get you an email, but also inside the course, and I will pull that up right here. inside your course. This is the website with the course. You will see a lesson called Trade Live with Rob Booker June 5th, and that has the Zoom link in that course. So for those of you that are members, you can go to that. Okay. Perfect. Ron says, what percent of your trades are short? I want to trade in a 401k and I'm not allowed to short. That's a great question, Ron. Most of the members of my trading family, Ron, are buying stocks. Most of them are stock buyers. So most of the group buys stocks. The simple, easy pattern is it's pretty straightforward. So most of them are buying stocks. I do a lot of shorting stocks, but that's a personal choice. So there you go. I'm going to look at the live market. I love the questions coming in now. Nigel, can you trade options for your swing and day trades? Yes. Yeah. A lot of the time you can do that. Sure. Okay. Let me now look at this top scan in Webull. Here's what I'm going to look at. Volume. I want to see stocks with hundreds of thousands, if not much more in volume. And look, there's not a lot out there today. Okay, we can look at SEV. SEV, that's one. A buy trade will come on SEV above the highs of the day so far, above 51 cents. So 53 cents is a buy trade on SEV for me. CIR, no, that's a buyout. If it looks like that, looks like an upside down L, that's an acquisition. Top, there we go. Oh, I had that trade ready to go. I missed that trade while we were here together. It's fine. It's fine. So you ever miss a trade and you want to be able to get it? I'm going to help you do it. I'm going to help you right now. So top is going to be a buy trade. It needs to print a red candle and drop here and make a brand new high of the day at $10.32. If it can do that, the breakout beyond $10.32 will take it to, I'm going to give you a quick profit target, $10.69 and then $11. So if it breaks above $10.35, 38, 39 cents, that could be a buy trade, but I need to see it drop back and reload and get ramped up. It's like pulling back a rubber band. It won't be a trade until it does that. Michael says you can't scan for volume on TradingView. I'm pretty sure that we can do a lesson on that today, Michael. So if you're going to be in the webinar later today, I can show you how to do that in TradingView. Okay. Well, we've said it all. It's time for the next speaker to, oh yeah, you can, Michael. It's time for the next speaker to get prepared. It's been an honor to be here. It's so nice to see John again and the whole team. I appreciate you setting up the Summer Trading Summit. I appreciate the chance to be here with you all. It's my privilege to be here. I'm grateful for the time we've had together. Click the link, give it a try, and I'll see you in the live trading webinar this afternoon.
It was our pleasure to have you, Rob. Now, guys, I don't want to take too much credit here, but I told you he was pretty good at this. So,
That's funny.
I gotta get something out of this. I'm like, come on, I did something right. I hyped you up. You did a great job. Again, this is like, you're talking to me when you're doing this, because I understood everything you were talking about. Wasn't over my head. I loved it. I think that's why I enjoy your talk so much, because I feel like you're speaking to me. Yeah, Paul agrees. Rob is good. Rob's one of the best. Rob, we really appreciate your time today. And just to be clear, when will this webinar you're talking about, this class you're going to do, what time will that be?
So we're going to do it at 3:55 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern time. We'll sign on.
Awesome. Beautiful. Hopefully a bunch of people join you. And I wish I wasn't doing this. I'd be there with you, buddy.
I wish too. That'd be great. If you hosted every webinar I did, I would actually have some good webinars. Thank you.
It's the intro. It's all the intro. I'm telling you.
It's all the intro. It really is. Oh my gosh. Have a great day. Thank you so much for having me.
See you later, Rob. Hey, Liz, thank you for your help today.